This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there, live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to a special Saturday edition of Wrestling Insider's Current Events. I'm Dan Mirade, joined by our longtime friend, the co-host with the most, the man with the most unique socks in all of southwestern Connecticut. I can only be talking about the prodigy, Mr. Matt Degnan. Matt, thank you for joining us on yet another Saturday night here as we break down a big WWE television extravaganza.
Yeah, well, it seems like every time we do these, we're not as hyped as the fans are.
No.
But I still like breaking it down, even though...
It's like DX's theme song. Just break it down.
Yeah, as long as you just don't tell us what to wear.
Yeah.
But we'll get right into this.
A lot to get into.
AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, and Jeff Hardy kicked off the show with an ascension ceremony of both Intercontinental titles before their triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental title at Clash of Champions, which is actually now tomorrow. Corey Graves was in the ring to interview or moderate the segment, which I don't know why he needed to be there. Every time they have one of the announcers come in the ring to moderate or interview someone, they're only in the ring for about 30 seconds to a minute until everything goes sideways. All three guys worked on the mic taking shots at each other before things went sideways, of course, because everything WWE does like this, it just ends in, fist and fury. I thought it was a good opener. It wasn't what AEW's opener was Wednesday with a random tag match that no one really cared about other than Miro making his in-ring debut. I thought it was a decent opener to get ready for the ladder match on Sunday night. I think this match is going to be good, and it has a shot to be match of the night at Clash of Champions. What did you think about the opener from last night?
Real barn burner. I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it have been nice if they actually opened the show with a tribute to Animal, which might have actually been of some interest to people, but not to take away from what was done here. I thought the raising of the championship belts for the ladder match was kind of cool. Sami Zayn, who I'm not a huge fan of, I liked the little angle he did when he was trying to get out of the ring. Then he pushed the ladder into AJ and Hardy, but in typical WWE fashion, they had to overdo it. Instead of ending a good segment that kind of made you interested in seeing the pay-per-view match, they just went into a triple threat match with the same three guys that are going to compete tomorrow night in a championship ladder match version tomorrow night. But
as I was going to get there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
Yeah, but as you said, then they later had a triple threat match, which I have no idea why they did this. The three of them, I could see if they were just, but even still, they've been doing these singles matches for weeks between the three of them, all of them ending in disqualification or roll-up pins or distractions. And I don't know why they would do a straight-up triple threat with the same three guys that are going to be in the match 48 hours later. It makes no sense. It's just, I don't know. WWE booking strikes again, I'll tell you that. And as you always say, overkill and overexposure. You're going to, have these three guys go on Friday, 2 days later go again, in basically the same format of a match, adding the ladders.
I guess I would have rather have maybe seen them go the route of let them have AJ and Hardy go at it again, and then maybe have Zayn throw the ladder into them in the middle of a match if they needed to have a match that bad. But I just didn't see the need to have a triple threat match with the same three guys that are going to be in the ladder match version of it tomorrow night. You could say that, well, that's a great way to build up the ladder match by having the three guys go at it in a standard triple threat match. But that's not how I see it. I think it's just too much of the same people in the same matches.
It's just, I don't know how this will get people hyped for Sunday. It only makes Sunday even more of a chore to watch. because you're going to be sitting there thinking on Sunday night, didn't I just watch this? Well, yeah, you did. I just don't know how it's going to hype the fans up.
Well, the ladder will be involved this time, so maybe.
That'll get it done.
That'll be the fourth man in the ring.
I just don't know why someone would want to pay for it when it's done on free TV for everyone to see. I just had no interest watching the match because I knew I'd be seeing it again on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it takes the air and suspense out of the match on Sunday because it'll feel like everyone already saw it, and it makes it not feel special at all if you're doing it on Friday and then you're doing it again on Sunday.
Well, I wonder what our fans that I'm sure are chatting away with us think. Slick Rick up in Maine, Maria Davis out in Pittsburgh, Smokey, Tina, Tania, our friend Larson who chimes in now, Trigger Trey, J.A. Will. Who knows?
My new Instagram friend, Maria.
Big Ant from Thunder Valley. We don't know who's with us tonight. We hope everybody's with us tonight. It is a Saturday night. It's an odd night for us compared to our regular video episodes where this is more of a podcast-style recap of SmackDown. But we're always interested to hear what the folks think as they type away. All of our Kevins, we have several Kevins that chime in, including my good friend Kevin Petrantozzi.
Not Kevin Owens?
No, not Kevin Owens. No, I'd be falling asleep if I was watching the KO show again. But anyway, back to SmackDown.
And then some other notes that I had. I hate the Velcro belts. That, I think, is dumb. They don't have the, I don't know what you want to call them, the buttons or snaps, whatever it is.
Snaps would be the word you were looking for. Snaps.
I haven't used anything with snaps on it in a while.
Yeah.
And the thing is, these three took up the first half hour of SmackDown. How is that supposed to build up Sunday when it's just shoving it in our face? You know, a sneak peek should not be a half-hour showcase. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't call a half an hour a sneak peek, but that's just me, I guess. It's like going to the movies and seeing a movie trailer that lasts for a half an hour for something that's coming soon.
But that's why I said a sneak peek should not be a half hour.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just trying to be funny. And it's early in the morning.
If you're trying
my humor isn't what it normally would be.
If you're trying to sneak peek or hype up a match or, get people interested, just do what they did in that first segment before the commercial break and leave it at that.
Yeah, I thought if they left it at that would have been fine. They didn't need to have an actual match.
That was like what you said about the Revival on Wednesday night. They had the good segment, but then they walked away from the match.
Right.
If they did the match, it would ruin the first segment. But the match just totally, I don't know. And then they announced it before the commercial break. It'll be a triple threat. And then they came back, and I just fast forwarded through it because I didn't want to watch it and then have to watch it again on Sunday because it would just take the air out of it.
I think more people were interested in getting ready to see Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays at 10 p.m. with John Cena Sr. at that point. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so.
Yeah. And then the next segment I thought was very dumb. Between Heavy Machinery and the Miz and Morrison. It just made everybody look dumb. I really don't get the storyline at all.
Neither do I.
Why is Miz suing, and what is Otis doing illegally? It makes no. Sometimes when they do these little lawsuit storylines, sometimes there's actually like a crime or something going on.
There was a crime involved.
What was the crime?
They wasted wrestling fans' time putting this on television.
Well, I don't know if that's suable, but
well, if you own WWE stock, it should be.
Yeah, I really don't get what the storyline is supposed to be. All the Miz is saying is he's going to sue him, and lawyers are going to be involved, and he's going to take away his car, his house, he took away his girlfriend. I don't know. It really just makes no sense to me.
And no one really cares.
Yeah, makes no sense, and no one cares. Then Bayley came out to cut another promo after a video recap of the past couple weeks between her and Sasha Banks. The same video that's been played for 3 weeks. They have to recap every little thing of just everything that happened for weeks. And I don't know why they always have to do this, but that's besides me.
I would put that into the category of nobody cares as well.
Yeah.
Nothing new, nothing of interest, just more of the same rehash garbage that no one really had much interest in the first go-around.
Yeah. I thought the promo was very generic. It came off as fake and scripted very, very badly. And it had no oomph coming from a heel. You know, sometimes heels can give good promos more than the faces. But I don't know. It didn't have anything to it. I'm not a particular fan of the woman, but still, it's just that promo was just very boring. It just came off as scripted badly. Sometimes the scripted promos can be done well, but this one was just done awfully.
Well, in her defense, slightly, you know, she's not a classically trained actress. She's just given a script and trying to deliver it the best she can based off of memorization. These people, male, female, they don't get into the industry because they want to recite scripts. They want to get in there, you know, they get involved in wrestling because of the passion they have for the action and excitement. And this is just a perfect example of why the scripting of the promos is a horrendous idea. It was very boring.
I mean,
it made me less interested, and I wasn't interested in what she was doing to begin with, but I was even less interested in what she was doing by the end of it.
I mean, I don't like the scripted promos either, but I mean, if you're going to be doing them and doing them almost every week, I mean, you got to kind of not perfect them, but work at it to memorize them and put some heart into it. You know, promos are part of wrestling at the end of the day.
You're not wrong, but again, she's not an actress. She's a professional wrestler. Why are you going to throw these, you know, several minute long scripts at her to try and memorize the day of the event? Sometimes, you know, an hour before they go live. It isn't exactly easy. I'll give her a little bit of credit there because a lot of the time there isn't much time to prep for what it is they're going to do when they go out there. And I wish it wasn't on at all, but as far as what she had to do for her duty for the night, she delivered a very bland, boring promo about a pay-per-view match that I don't think anyone really cares about, and a vendetta that I certainly don't have much interest in.
And I think it just confuses like the basic fans who aren't as into it of what's going on. She's facing Nikki Cross on Sunday. She's talking about Sasha. Then she's going back to Nikki. She's just bebopping and scatting between the two. And, you know, some people can be confused. Is she facing Sasha? Is she facing Nikki? It's just, you know, who's she feuding with at this point? I won't get into predictions because we'll do that Sunday. But I just don't think it'll end cleanly on Sunday at all. But
you don't think that match with Bayley and Nikki Cross is going to have a clean finish?
I think Sasha's going to get involved, and it's either going to be a disqualification or she's going to cost Bayley the title.
Oh, I'd be surprised if you didn't see a pinfall in that one, but we don't want to go into too many predictions here.
Oh,
it would make zero sense to include Nikki Cross in that program. She's just kind of a bridge to get to the bigger feud, which my gut still tells me is going to be a horrendous Hell in the Cell match in October. But again, we'll get to that point.
That's been talked about for a couple weeks now, them having a Hell in a Cell match for the SmackDown Women's title. And I remember I said before I don't know why they do something that big at Hell in a Cell. I mean, it's something that fans, I know you'll probably not like it, but it's something that fans have wanted, you know, for a while. If you go into comments,
the millions of fans that tune out each and every year are just dying to see it. Yeah.
Well, no, the hardcore fans know, but the basic fan, if you read the comment sections on these WWE posts and stuff like that, and the people that tweet and stuff like that, they wanted to see this breakup for a while. And this match, we haven't seen them face each other in years. And their first match was pretty good for what it was in women's wrestling, but whatever. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Gran Metalik. It was a good match, but we'll have to see them do it all over again on Sunday, which makes me not want to see it as much in only 48 hours.
Well, to me, I disagree. That achieved its goal. It was to build that tag team title match up a little bit. You didn't have the actual teams going at it. I didn't have a problem with one man representing each team going at it in a singles match to add a little
Yeah, but
spice.
they do it every time there's a tag team feud. How many times do we see on Raw and SmackDown in the past year or so? Every time there's a tag title feud, what happens for weeks on end before the match, or multiple matches?
Well, what's the alternative to build the match up then?
I would not, but for every single tag title feud, you're going to have them face each other every single week in singles competition. It just gets boring and old. And then once you get to the match, you've already seen all four guys face each other in some capacity. And it's just, and then you look at the Raw side. How many times have the Street Profits and Garza and Andrade faced each other in the past couple months?
I would have rather have seen singles matches in that case. I've seen that tag team match ad nauseum.
It's just I believe they've done singles matches too between. It's just every time there's a tag title feud, the build is always just random singles matches that always end in some chicanery and, little fights after the match or, roll up pins or distraction finish. It's just the same shit every week with these tag title feuds. And then I'm sure next Friday we're going to see another rematch between, these two tag teams or something, because they have to do every title match, every feud at least 15 times. But I digress. There was a little fight after the match. There was a little tension between the Lucha House Party. That was shown again. It was just yet another match or variation of a match.
I think it would be good if Kalisto did a little heel turn and went off on his own. I don't think you need all three of them together. I don't think it helps any of them by having three as opposed to two, so why not try and do something different with Kalisto, who, to his credit, he had a fairly decent run as the United States champion back in, that would have been 2015, 2016. He defeated Alberto Del Rio, who defeated John Cena for the championship. So he had a little sizzle at one point. Not much, but
a little sizzle. Yeah.
A little sizzle.
Yeah. If they do those singles matches, don't do them every week and don't do them, the go-home show, the pay-per-view. Maybe
what's after the alternative then? What would you do to
build
that?
It in other ways?
How? I'm asking you how. How would you have built up the tag team title match Sunday with the two teams involved?
That's for them to decide, not me. I'm just saying they have to find other ways.
Well, I'm big on solutions.
I like that too, but I'm just saying I can't think of anything right now, on the spot.
All right.
But I'm saying if you could plan it week by week, it's fine. But when you're if it's for a couple feuds, that's fine. But when you're doing it every single tag title feud and it's week after week after week of just singles matches, by the time you get to the match, you've seen these guys face each other in some capacity multiple times. I could see doing two singles matches between the tag teams, maybe one night, like both in one night, instead of variations of it for 4 weeks leading up to the match.
You don't like the variations.
I don't like the variations because then you got Nakamura versus Grand Metalik, and then he faces Lince Dorado, and then Cesaro faces each one. So by the time you get to the pay-per-view, you've seen them face each other. It just doesn't do it for me. Another promotional video building the Universal title match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso on Sunday played. Alpha, Sika, and Rikishi and Jimmy Uso were used in this video. I thought it was another good video to help build the match at Clash of Champions. Jey Uso then came out to talk himself about the biggest match of his career, which it is the biggest match of his career. He's never competed for a singles title in his career, one-on-one.
That's usually how singles matches go, but...
What do you mean?
He said he's never competed for a singles championship one-on-one.
Well, you could do it in a triple threat,
all right,
fatal four-way, gauntlet match. There's multiple ways to compete for a singles title. You could do tournament. You could actually do it in the Royal Rumble like they did in 2016. You could do a six-pack challenge, fatal five-way, fatal four elimination.
Lots of matches that no one really wants to see.
Yeah, well, there are other ways than singles matches. But Jey Uso did address the look that Roman Reigns gave him last week, which you stated.
At least he didn't ignore it, which was good.
Yeah, he didn't really state how he found out, I believe.
I'm going to guess he watched the video. Unless
I don't
our
get why
good
he
friend,
rewatched it.
esteemed psychic medium Ellen Damsky told him.
I don't know. I just don't get rewatching what you're in, but whatever. I thought it was good in this circumstance between family because wrestlers give each other smug looks and dirty looks all the time. But in this case, it is family, and I don't really mind it. But segment went to commercial randomly with, I don't know if it happened to you, if it was just me. It went to commercial randomly in the middle of a Paul Heyman when he was talking backstage.
On my feed, he went back into the locker room before they went to commercial.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine went to commercial randomly, so I don't know if we're considered indifferent. I don't know what you have for cable.
Paul Heyman finished his speech, everything he had to say, and then he went back into the locker room to end it. He said he'd be back at Roman's choosing time-wise later on in the show, and that was it.
I think I still have it on DVR. I'll have to send you a video of what happened when I was watching it, because I was very confused. He's just in the middle of a sentence, and boom, it goes to commercial. So it must not happen for everyone then.
I thought it was another good video package they put together with all of the various Samoans in it talking about the match. Maybe not quite as good as the one that Paul Heyman narrated last week, but I'll tell you this, two very, very, very effective pieces in wanting wanting to see the match on Sunday. So I thought that was effective, whoever is behind putting the structure of the Roman and Uso match together. Two very good promos back-to-back weeks. And I thought Jey Uso showed great fire in his promo as a singles babyface, which is only going to help his cause.
Well, I'll get more into
that. A lot to like about that.
I'll get more into that as they actually close the show as well, right. Roman and Jey. We'll move into Baron Corbin defeating Matt Riddle. For some reason, I have no idea why they would have Matt Riddle lose to Baron Corbin. He started off so hot, beating AJ Styles in his first night, and then he beat Baron Corbin at Payback, I believe it was. And I don't know why they're having Riddle lose already on just regular TV when this match was announced like 30 seconds before they came out to the ring. It's just no reason to have him lose. There was no build to this match. It just randomly announced. They came out, they fought. It was a good match, don't get me wrong, but it just the wrong ending. They seemed like they clicked somewhat well. It didn't look like they were off per se, but I just didn't like Corbin going over Riddle randomly.
Well, I guess they don't see in Matt Riddle what others do as far as being a top-tier guy higher on the food chain than Baron Corbin at this point, at least.
Yeah, that's why I said I think Riddle is, as you said, he's being booked like a clown. I think they should just let him be who he is. I think just in this one match, he was put down multiple pegs. I wouldn't say he was hot, but, for coming to the show just a few months ago, or I don't know what month he actually came up in, probably June, July, something like that. And just a random match with Corbin, and he loses clean. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I think I'd like him more if I never heard one of his promos, watched his entrance, or heard his theme song. I like his work bell to bell. But, in the end, doing a clean job to someone like Corbin, who, while, again, as an upper mid-card guy, has lost to just about everybody he's ever stepped in the ring with in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, it just shows that Riddle isn't going to be treated as anything special, and he's never going to become a top guy because he's doing the clean jobs right off the bat. Yeah, it's not how you get a new superstar over. You don't do the clean jobs. You have them win. That's what gets someone over. It's a very simple formula that has worked for decade upon decade upon decade upon decade upon decade upon decade. I don't think the win helps Corbin at all, and I think it drags down Riddle.
No, that's what I said. It knocks him down way too much. It's just, as you said before, Corbin hasn't beaten anybody. Who has he beaten? Shorty G, Just rubbed me the wrong way, but wish I was rubbed the right way, but what are you going to do?
You have to talk to Vicente Rey's hand friend in California for that.
Well, we'll find out.
Have to mention that to him,
yeah. I think WWE needs to do another King of the Ring tournament.
No, they don't. Those are awful.
Well, if I can finish too, but I think this King Corbin shtick is getting old and boring. It's probably been that way for months. It's been over. The only reason why I say that is because he's been king now for over a year.
They don't need a king at all. Is the
Well,
best way to say
I don't know how they're going to get him off this thing without crowning a new king, or just, I don't know, maybe after the draft, if they send him to Raw and they claim he's only the king of SmackDown and not Raw or something. I don't know. But they're going to have to, it's just the same stupid theme music, the same crown and scepter. It just, what other King of the Ring kept that gimmick for this long?
Well, Jerry Lawler was the king for a while.
Well, he didn't get it from the King of the Ring. He got it. I don't know if you watched the story behind it with his Stone Cold Broken Skull episode, but he actually went in depth of how he became the king.
I am familiar with that.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't.
No,
he technically.
I know he did. I don't even think he's competed in. Oh no, he did compete in the King of the Ring. He was in the.
He did, and then he attacked.
But,
and then he attacked Bret Hart after he won.
Well, Jerry didn't wrestle in that one though.
I know that. I'm just saying he attacked, Hart after he won the tournament, but Jerry never won King of the Ring, but he got it when he was in Memphis. Then in the next segment, Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans ended in disqualification because why not? I think Bliss and her acting is awful. It doesn't sell this dumb storyline at all. I saw someone tweet out, they said Alexa Bliss's acting is selling this storyline. I said, what? She's selling this with her acting. It looks awful. Just that stupid 1,000-yard stare that just, it's, the storyline itself is dumb. Her acting looks stupid. Whatever. Match was way too long. And I know technically the Jey Uso and Roman Reigns thing was the main event of the show, but this match was in the main event slot. I mean, it was the last match of the show. It ended
that doesn't mean that. No, that is not the main event of the show.
It was
in the last. It might have been the last match of the show, but it certainly wasn't the main event or the main event slot.
It was the co-main. You could call it the co-main.
No, it was not a co-main event. It was the match that started at 9:30.
Which basically the co-main. Usually,
no. The cornerstone segments are the opener. What leads into 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock.
No, in the time slot,
it's not a main event. No,
I know it's not a main event.
It wasn't any. It was just a match.
I know it was just a match, but the time slot it was in, it was basically like that, and it went for 15. It went
way too long. Way too long.
But that's why I said it was way too long. Starting at 9:30 and going till 9:45, that's pretty long. I wouldn't say it was the main event or a cornerstone, but the time slot it was in and the length it got, it's almost like a main event.
No, not even close. You'll learn.
I don't have to learn. That's just my observation.
Well, it's an inaccurate observation.
Hang on, if I could finish. If it starts at 9:30 and ends at 9:45, and it's the last match of the night before a 7-minute promo to end the show, come on. I wouldn't even consider promos that end the night. I think that's fine if it's a go-home show and it's for the main title. That's fine. I wouldn't call that. I call it a partial main event, but I think main events are the last matches that go on in terms of the TV shows.
They're not.
Well, that's my observation.
All right,
but
you'll learn. That's all.
I don't need to learn. It's my observation. I'll keep it that way. But I'm just saying, if it's 9:30 to 9:45 and a 7-minute promo ends the show, it's basically a main event. That might not be how you view it or they view it, but it's how I view it as a fan. But whatever.
Then I cry. If there are other fans than you that look at that, is anything close to a main event or a main event segment?
I didn't say the caliber of it was main event. I'm saying the slot it was in. A 15-minute match, 10 minutes before the show ends. Come on. I mean, that's as close to a main event as you can get.
If it ended the show, sure. But no, second to last, no, that's not a main event spot.
A 7-minute promo. Come on. That's not going to be a main event. Yeah,
it was the main event segment.
That's the main event segment, but it's not the main event match, which, you know, I could see if the match was like 9:15 to 9:30. All right, that's not really a main event. But if you're in the last 25 to 30 minutes of the show before a 7-minute promo.
On just about every WWE show, there's a lot of garbage in the last half an hour, and that could be said for what we saw last night.
I could see if Roman
was not a main event match.
If Roman and Jey Uso had longer than a 7 or 8 minute segment to close the show, then I'd say that was, you know, longer in a main event, like well played out. All Roman did was he cut a promo, he came in the ring, he talked for about two minutes, not even, short to the point promo. Jay talked on the mic for about same thing, 2-3 minutes, short and to the point, and then that was it. And then Roman came out and Superman punched him and laid him out, which I thought was kind of stupid because usually his Superman punch doesn't lay people out and put him on the ground. Because usually the Superman punch sets up the spear, which I would have much rather have him speared him and laid him out rather than his, you know, second to last move that he does in the Superman punch, which looked like it killed Jey Uso. So I don't know if they're going to end with the Superman punch on Sunday because it made it look, you know, like it was really Superman hitting that punch. But back to Bliss and Evans for a second. I don't get why this got so much time on a pay-per-view go-home show when these two aren't even on the show tomorrow. You're going to have them do a 15, 20-minute match.
That's a very valid point.
You're going to have, which, back to the thing, co-main event, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to have them go 15, 20 minutes when neither of them are on the show. The Fiend is not even on the show, which is being tied into this. It has nothing to do with Sunday. And you're going to give them a big chunk of the show. You know, you give 30 minutes to a match we're going to see on Sunday. You give Nakamura and Metalik another 15 minutes, however long they went. And then you give Corbin and Riddle about 15 minutes as well. And they're not even on the show on Sunday.
The roster is too small.
It is. It's just none of this felt like a go-home go-home show. You know, and then you got the Miz and Morrison thing with Heavy Machinery. They're not even on the show on Sunday. You know, Bayley coming out to cut a generic promo did nothing. They did nothing with Nikki Cross. I don't think I saw her last night, and she's fighting for the women's title, and all they had Bayley do was come out there and sit on a chair on the ramp and talk. It's just, it didn't feel like a go-home show, other than the last, I would say, 7 or 8 minutes with Roman and Jay. That was when it really felt like they were building up the pay-per-view on Sunday. Other than that, it just didn't feel like a true go-home show.
And to be fair, it's a rather small lineup. I think there were only 8 matches if you include the kickoff show. So they had to fill the time somehow, I guess. It's not like there's a lot of undercard women that you could feed Bayley to go over clean on that you haven't seen her wrestle 8,212 times. It's not like there's a lot of undercard tag teams that you could feed Nakamura and Cesaro to heat them up as champions going in for the title defense. I thought what they did with Roman and Uso was actually pretty good as far as building up interest goes. I'm trying to think of what else is, and then the triple threat match we already complained about for the Intercontinental title. So, I mean, I think those are the only SmackDown matches that are on the show, if I'm correct.
Well, I would have at least liked to see Nikki Cross, who didn't even show up at the show, and she's fighting.
Busy training, I guess.
Yeah, fighting for a title on Sunday.
Looking for Otis's lunchbox. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at first I didn't like Reigns and Uso, but
I love it. I love it. I don't know why, but I think it's fresh. I think it's different, and I love it.
Well, it's grown on me the past few weeks. The build has been very good, and they've sold me on the storyline, even though everyone knows Reigns is going to win and retain his title. I mean, if Jey Uso wins, I mean, that's got to be, I mean, one of the biggest shocks in WWE. But, I mean, it's 100% that Reigns is retaining. If somehow he loses and they do some Mick Foley type of, thing with Jey Uso, I mean, that would be one of the bigger mistakes they've made after pairing him with Heyman and turning him heel recently. But
only reason why I like it, you make a new star.
I mean, the only reason why Jey Uso is getting any type of, shot here is because Jimmy's out with the knee injury. So if Jimmy wasn't injured, they'd probably be fighting for the tag titles on Sunday.
If this was one of those situations almost like SummerSlam where they had a pay-per-view the next week, I'd almost say, eh. But, Roman was out for so long. They're trying to establish him, as an evil big dog now. He's got Heyman by his side. I really can't see it happening. But I tell you this, I think it would add some magic to a lifeless show right now to try and create a new star. I know the Otis Mania has pretty much run its course at this point. I wouldn't mind seeing a new star created. Would I have Roman do a job right now to a guy that's been a tag team competitor for a decade? No. But I think it would be a very memorable moment. I think it would be a special moment. I just don't know where you'd go with it other than it being a very short title reign, and then Uso goes back to teaming with his brother once he's healthy again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What if we see a swerve with Heyman taking out Lesnar? Or I don't know. I'm just trying to think of anything that WWE could swerve us with or come out of left field, because they need to start doing stuff like that. It's just catching.
Well, you know what? I'll give it to you. Maybe Jey Uso defies the odds, becomes the champion, and Otis cashes in.
I was just about to say that because I'm trying to think of outside the box things that they could kind of hit us with.
And if they want to go maybe the Vince Russo route, just to add a layer of confusion to it, maybe it'll be nullified on the following SmackDown, as instead of the actual Money in the Bank briefcase, Otis brings out the lunchbox, and the referee accepts the wrong briefcase, and instead of the briefcase, it's the lunchbox that's cashed in, and that
technically the contract.
Nullified.
Technically, Otis put the contract in the lunchbox.
Oh, it is. It's officially in the lunchbox now.
A couple weeks ago, when remember we were talking about this on the show, Morrison stole the briefcase, and then there was a backstage segment between Tucky and Otis where Otis said, "I don't keep the contract in there; I keep it in the briefcase or the lunchbox or whatever." I don't know.
Maybe Otis brings out the wrong case.
Yeah, or
maybe the contract is stolen. Maybe they opened the briefcase or his lunchbox, and maybe the contract is gone. I have no idea. I'm just trying to make sense out of complete and utter nonsense.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to think outside the box of something that would be
or inside the lunchbox.
Yeah, outside the lunchbox. Or maybe they try to break up Otis and Tucker, and they do a storyline where Tucker puts the contract back in the real briefcase, and then he tries to use the lunchbox, and then Otis gets mad at Tucker for putting it back in because he blew his shot or something. I don't know. I could really care less. When Otis won that Money in the Bank briefcase at the top of WWE headquarters and also Southwestern Connecticut, you just laugh. I don't know why he won that match. There were multiple people in that match I would have much rather seen win that briefcase. But what are you going to do? That's just what I always say.
What are you going to do? Exactly.
What are you going to do? Nothing that we could do or tell them. Even they say they listen to the fans, but sometimes they do. But for the most part, they don't.
Every night when I go to bed, when I turn my fans on, I listen to them. So maybe they do the same thing.
Well, I got 2 in my room. And
there you go. I listen to my fans.
Yeah. We can get into the viewership now. If you have anything else to add to this, just
no
awful SmackDown.
Not just an awful smack, just an awful week of wrestling all around.
It's everything. It was one of the worst Raws, as we did our Wednesday night show that people can go back and listen to, where we broke down AEW and NXT. It just was one of the worst Wednesday nights that they've had in a year. And last night on I wouldn't say it was one of the worst SmackDowns I've seen, but it definitely was not that good. I'll tell you that. if you want to try to guess the viewership for last night, as we did for Wednesday's show, or technically Thursday's.
2.1.
2,032,000. So you were about
not too far off.
Not too far off. You did go with the Wednesday predictions too.
But I was in the hunt.
They gained about 100,000 viewers from last week, and I don't know how. The only things they had announced were Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans, Roman Reigns promo, and I knew there was a third.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, well, there's Alexa coming in. Thanks.
She turns heel on you every week.
Yeah. And Jeff Hardy versus Sami Zayn, which I don't know how anybody can get pumped for that when they're seeing it 2 days later. I don't know. I don't know how they gained almost 100,000 viewers, but I don't know. That's up for the fans to decide. But they got over 2 million, which props to them. And hey, when you've been under 2 million for that long, and especially when you're on Fox, come on.
The number is an embarrassment on Fox. If it was on USA, it would be a different story. But
yeah,
those numbers on Fox, I'm sure Fox is going to be extremely disappointed that they're spending this much money on numbers that are coming in looking like that. Thunderdome or no Thunderdome.
Do you think they should go back to Tuesday SmackDowns?
No. I think they should go back to trying to put together a logical product that wrestling fans want to see. Then the wrestling fans will find it no matter what day of the week it's on.
Yeah. My grade for SmackDown, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I mean, the only things I really liked was just the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso stuff. I liked the opening segment until they did the triple threat. And the wrestling itself, Nakamura and Metalik was good, and Corbin and Riddle was good, but the action was good, but the finishes and the way they did it wasn't good. But for the quality of wrestling and the little promos that I liked, I gave it a 3 out of 10.
Well, we were close yet again. I was a little higher than you. I guess I liked it just a smidge more. I gave it 4 out of 10. Again, I was disgusted with the lack of tribute to Road Warrior Animal. He got his, 5-second graphic to open the show, and then maybe a 30-second video montage of superstars tweeting about his death. I would have actually liked to have seen something about the man himself, considering how much filler garbage was on this show that I don't think anyone had any great interest in. I don't think anyone would have lost any sleep if they shaved 5 minutes off of Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans. I don't think anyone would have lost much sleep if Bayley didn't cut her promo. I don't think anyone would have lost much sleep if they didn't have that triple threat Intercontinental title match. So for my notes, overall for a garbage show, outside of the effective Roman and Uso build-up, which I continue to like an awful lot, and a few other pulses of life there, for the majority of the show, it was just...
I know, it's just, you would have been better off taking stuff out. Take off the triple threat, take off that dumb segment with Heavy Machinery and Miz and Morrison, take out the Bayley promo, and you would have, added by subtraction. So, I mean, that's why I gave it a 3 out of 10, because there's stuff you could have done without, you could have done better. But there were some highlights of the show, which is why I gave it, a 3. I mean, I love seeing those wrestling accounts that say, what did everyone think about SmackDown tonight? And the people that go, one of the best SmackDowns I've seen, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
Well,
I'm like,
you know what it is? And I usually would like to strangle those people, but I'm going to guess that I'd love to think that these are newer fans that never experienced wrestling when it was good. Maybe to them, this is their version of the 80s boom. To them, maybe this is the version of the 70s when the world champion would come to town, territory by territory. To them, maybe this is their Attitude Era. If they never experienced anything better, this is the wrestling they know and love. So I try and be patient when I look at it from that point of view sometimes, but when I see the compliments sometimes towards these dog shit shows, I can't believe it.
That's why what I was talking about before, if you look at the comments and stuff like that in these sections, every time it's just, as you say, you just roll your eyes, and it's just sometimes you just want to hear what these people have to say about the shows. I want to get some of these people, not even in the studio, but just I want to talk to them and just see like what they think about these shows.
Invite them on. I don't know what to tell you. Invite them on.
I just want to talk to them, and what do you like about the shows? What appeals to you? What do you think is good? Do you like seeing these champions or future stars of the company getting just pinned on just free TV, and then on the pay-per-views they look like they're dominating superstars? It's just I don't know, it's just there's so many ups and downs, and one segment will look good and then the next segment will look like dog shit.
It was just, I can't think of a week that has had this many either bland or bad shows. I think I gave NXT a 6, and that was maybe being a little on the generous side. And I
when you said
the other 3 shows were atrocious this week. Raw, AEW, and SmackDown. I didn't like any of them. And NXT, I thought, even looking back on it now, I felt I was a little generous. But you know what? Hey, Christmas is 3 months from today. I'm in the holiday spirit. Oh, today isn't the 25th? Well, it's leap year, right? I don't know.
Yeah, well, technically we would have been there if it wasn't a leap year. So technically you're right in some sense, but you're just a day behind everybody.
That's all right.
Because you don't want to get the Clash of Champions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Clash of Champions, the meal when it's over. That's usually the highlight. But who knows? Hey, you know what? WWE, with the roster of athletes they have, they can come out with a winner sometimes, almost going by the phrase that even a broken clock is right twice a day. Sometimes you just have some good athletes with some good matches. And thinking of that lineup itself, I know we're going to do a little pregame show tomorrow before our WWE Clash live watch-along stream. I can't think of any matches off the top of my head that make me shudder that they're going to take place.
I don't want to get into predictions or anything, but I mean, there's just a bunch of rematches. Nikki Cross and Bayley. We've seen that. Lucha House Party and Nakamura and Cesaro. Seen that multiple times, whether it's tag team or singles competition. Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley, or Booby Lashley as I call him, because he's got the Vicente Ray going on a little bit.
No, there's a big difference between Bobby and Vicente. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. There's a big.
Well, look at everyone says Big E has boobs, and his are. It doesn't matter if they're muscular or not. If you got the pecs or the puppies or the babies, whatever you want to call them, as you say, the friends, the 3 of them. I don't know, and then you got Zelina Vega and Asuka on the kickoff show, which I don't even think it should be on the kickoff show, even that, which them putting on the kickoff show says 2 things. They have no faith in them, and Asuka's going over in quick fashion, obviously.
Or they just want to keep the pay-per-view quick, which would be nice, especially after the AEW one we sat through when my back was ready to collapse.
The way this pay-per-view is shaping out right now, it looks like it's going to be over in about an hour. Because I think Bobby's going to kill Apollo, or there's going to be some, I almost forgot their name, Retribution shenanigans, because their whole thing with the Hurt Business.
Well, maybe they'll be hiding in the ambulance.
Yeah, and they might be in there. I don't know.
If it's over by 9:30, I'll be very, 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 very happy.
And then we can get to our after Clash of Champions meal.
And the great fans at home can sit back and relax and wait for 11 o'clock as the brand new episode of Wrestling Insider Special Edition with WWE Hall of Famer Brutus the Barber Beefcake premieres on the YouTube channel. It's also available now for our wonderful Patreons at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, where for the price of a cup of coffee over at Starbucks, you can get early, ad-free access to our Wrestling Insiders episodes, plus stream the entire Studio Shoot interview DVD series, all while helping keep professional wrestling legends working. If you bleed Boston wrestling like so many of our great friends and fans that are tuned in tonight. There's no reason not to join us. You'll have a great time and enjoy some even better content with even better people, because that's what we have that we talk with on the premiere of our programs, both podcast style and video style. We deal with some great people, some great fans. They super chat with us. They're on the eBay. They're on the Patreon. They send us well wishes in the chat. They send us well wishes via email, via social media. We got great people on our team, and we're growing it week by week, month by month. It's something else. I love them.
We're getting a full roster.
Yeah. Better than WWE's roster. I'll take mine any day.
Well, they have a good roster, but the booking's not so hot. But
all right, well, we'll have to talk to Maria Davis about that. We'll see.
Well, I guess the next time we'll be talking to everyone is tomorrow night for the Clash of Champions watch-along.
Live,
baby.
Live.
Well, I don't know how you do we have some other watch-alongs coming up that aren't live, but I don't know.
Lots of watch-alongs. All we're going to be doing is watching.
Along,
yeah.
Yeah.
A watch-along.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't know.
I can't believe that we were almost an hour into this review of a 2-hour show that wasn't all that good.
We had a lot of chicanery into it, a lot of joking around.
Well, there's always a lot of joking around. And for fans that enjoy joking around, let me get another cheap plug in as I spend my entire Saturday here at MWF Studios, beautiful downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, in the zip code of Champions, 02176. This Tuesday's episode of Wrestling Insiders at Your House with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas should be available on the Patreon before this episode is available Saturday night. How about that?
I don't know if I told you this, but I finally watched that Edge and John Cena documentary.
How did you like that?
It was actually pretty good. What made me watch it was
Johnny's piece.
The Fabulous Friday last night. Because I was going to watch it the other day, and I totally forgot. Yeah, and when he mentioned it on the show last night, I said, "Oh shit!" So then after that, I watched it, which was actually pretty good. I didn't know they didn't use it in full, tape when they filmed it, and then didn't use it when Edge was doing ad lib over it.
Oh, with the scene at the house.
Yeah,
they had to. That nothing against our dear friend John Cena Sr., but he probably went for about 20 minutes when they had about a minute and a half of TV time, so they had to adjust that one on the fly.
Yeah, that acting was Alexa Bliss like.
Johnny thought he was Triple H back in 2003 when he would open Raw with the 20-minute promo.
And then he took the slap from Edge.
He did, and that was good. I enjoyed that.
A little bit of an oversell, but
no.
And then he goes, "It's going to be 1, 2, 3." And then and then he says he's going to call the police, and then it was just hilarious. But I don't know if he had the piece in 2006,
no,
but
he had it.
Well, I'm surprised Edge didn't slap that off.
Well, Randy took a much better shot at it a year later when he punted him in the head. But I guess that'll be for the next watch along.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll talk to everyone else tomorrow for an amazing Clash of Champions Gold Rush pay-per-view.
All right, wrestling fans, it's going to be a doubleheader Sunday, as Matt just mentioned. Just before 7 o'clock, we'll go live with some predictions for the big WWE Clash of Champions Gold Rush. Then at 11, Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, is back for a trip down memory lane for some memories you actually want to remember, unlike wrestling TV shows this week, as we look at the World Wrestling Federation in the year 1988. For my partner in crime, my buddy, the prodigy, Matt Degnan, who knows what may be on those feet right now. I'm Dan Mirade. We'll see you tomorrow night. You and yours be well. Stay healthy. Good night.